Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please sit down with a warm drink. This is a new blend of tea that I got from a small Black-owned women business in Toronto at a vendor fair. It's really good. It's got a very toasty flavor. I think there's mint in this. I'll put it in the description, or maybe I'll pop it over here, like the list of ingredients, but it's designed for women to provide like essential micronutrients at your time of the month or cycle. I don't really do cycle syncing, but I do like drinking mint tea in the evenings to help de-bloat and like relax. And obviously has a lot of, spearmint tea in particular has a lot of hormonal benefits. So yeah, that's my choice in my little handmade mug. But yeah, I thought it would be really fun to do a Q1 review because it's almost the end of March, which is crazy to think about, but time really flies when you don't pay attention to it, right? Or when you're having fun. And I felt like I was having a lot of fun, or maybe there was just a lot going on, both in my personal life and obviously the world this quarter. So I kind of wanted to run down how I've been approaching meeting my goals that I set at the beginning of the year and any progress and changes that I want to make, because I think that doing regular audits of your goals is really important to understand whether you're actually, one, achieving them, and two, if you actually like the process of achieving those goals. Because honestly, half of the struggle is always about the journey. If you don't like what you're doing, it's going to be harder for you to stick to things. So I like to really understand like why I'm doing certain things, if I feel that the benefits outweigh the pain or the struggle associated with them. And yeah, so please join me. So we are in a different location today because why not? I just wanted to switch it up. You may recognize this from like my first ever makeup tutorial, but yeah, rearranged a few things. So yeah, I just have my journal and my March spread, which let me know if you're interested in me talking about my journaling spread. It's very me. I have like a system that I really enjoy now. So I'm happy to like give tips and tricks if you are interested. And obviously I really like the aesthetics of it. Like I think my spreads are really pretty. But anyway, back to the program. Yeah, I had a lot of goals at the start of the year. The advantage that I have is I've been able to build up a routine for quite some time. I wasn't starting from scratch. And so I either wanted to keep doing things because I've seen a lot of benefits from them, or I had the space to actually implement new things. So I'll kind of go like section by section. The first one is goals oriented into health and wellness. So yeah, I'm going to cover a lot here. One, in terms of movement, I've been really trying to be more holistic in my movement this year. I feel like as I'm getting older, which is crazy to say because I'm like literally I'm 27, but as I'm getting older, I really want to prioritize doing a lot more variety of movement, because I feel that it's just good for you in terms of longevity. As you're getting older, you're trying a lot more things, and that will keep you injury free, especially as you age more. And also I feel like it has kept me from getting burnt out and bored because I have so many fitness things to like focus on and do. So just like a quick little rundown of my current, not routine, but what I technically do a week. I do lift heavy 3 times a week. I try to do Pilates like at least once or twice a week. And I also try to do 10,000 steps a day. That's like my cardio. I will incline walk at the gym and then count that as part of my 10,000 steps. And I also try to do yoga at least 5 to 6 times a week. And yeah, the yoga part may sound a little bit crazy, but I'm not doing like an hour every single day. These are all, it's more about getting consistent movement every single day and seeing what you can do to achieve that, rather than trying to do it for as long as possible, or even doing like a longer session once a week. So I think I've been keeping up really well with my fitness goals. They've honestly not been that hard because I have been doing them before, but I have really liked the multidimensional aspect of it. I've definitely noticed great improvements in my sleep, as well as like my overall muscle tone, now that I've started being super consistent and tracking things. I used to have like a Whoop. It was actually my partner's subscription and then I got added onto it. But I felt like the over tracking was one, it was kind of preventing me from listening to my body. I'd wake up, I'd feel like fantastic. My Whoop's like 29% recovery. I'd be like, oh, and then I wouldn't work out, or I'd do like a light workout. And then next day I'd be really tired. When in reality, I should have just listened to my body, worked out, and then I probably would have felt better. And yes, but like in terms of tracking, like I track my steps just like on my phone and in terms of time. And I also like journal the types of activity that I've done. And through tracking that, I've definitely noticed a big difference. My overall mobility has improved a lot and my sleep is a lot better. And I just feel a lot more grounded and present in my body, which is always nice. The next thing I did want to talk about is nutrition. So I have been in a little bit of a calorie deficit from the beginning of the year, I would say. That's been going well. The reason for this is I want to focus on fat loss a little bit because I have three major goals. Let's start there. I want to focus on fat loss a little bit because I carry a lot of muscle. And as I'm working and lifting heavy in the gym, which by the way, I'm lifting heavy specifically to protect my bones and put on as much muscle mass as I can before I turn like 40, because then you start losing muscle mass, because that's incredibly important for women, both in terms of reducing your fall risk when you're older, but also because it can help prevent things like heart disease or diabetes, etc. So putting on muscle is important. Now this has caused a little bit of a dilemma, but I love my wardrobe. I've thrifted a lot of pieces. I've invested a lot of time and effort and money into it. And the muscle is making it a little bit hard to fit into certain things. So I feel like if I just lose a little bit of fat, it'll help balance it out. Because I really, yes, get the bigger pair of jeans if they really don't fit you, but I really don't want to replace my entire wardrobe because I love it. So yeah, I don't want to like drop like 35 pounds or anything like that. I'm really not paying attention to the scale. The scale is not what is important to me. I just wanted to do like, 12-week thing in a calorie deficit and then go back to my normal diet once I've like achieved my fat loss goals. So more of like a body recomp if anything, because I am also eating really high protein, because once again, I'm trying to build muscle. So I'm just trying to like reverse my composition to be more muscle forward, and that's the goal there. The other nutrition goal that I've really been hammering out, not just this year, I actually started it, I would say Q4 last year, would be eating more fiber maxing, as the girls call it. It's really shocking, but like 95% of North Americans don't even hit the daily minimum requirements, which are 25 grams for women and 40 grams per men. And there's a lot more, there's like a huge rate, or huge rise, I should say, and bowel cancer rates amongst young people, mind you. And it's like the fiber thing will help mitigate that. Eat your fiber. And what I have also found is that in this calorie deficit specifically, I've always eaten really high protein. I eat about 120 grams a day. So like correlate that with your body weight and lean body mass, etc. But the fiber and increasing the amount of fiber in my diet, I eat about 40 grams a day now, has completely killed my hunger cravings. And it's not really volume eating. It's more like the foods that I eat are high in fiber. So because I really struggle with volume eating, I get like full really easily, and then like an hour later I'll get hungry. So these don't prevent that. I can eat a small portion, but I feel satiated. And then like I'm more likely to stick in my calorie deficit. The only issue I would say I had this quarter in terms of like health and wellness and nutrition are, I've been like such a sugar fiend. I can't lie. It's really hard. We have like donuts and stuff in the office, maybe like once or twice a week. And then I have to, like, I'm not the kind of person who restricts myself. Like, you can't ever do sugar, etc. Because my brain will just hyperfixate on it. As soon as I get told that I can't have something, like I will just be obsessed with it. And it takes I have to like literally bar myself from having it. Like I don't have sweet treats in the house. I only have fruit. I mean, I love fruit, so it's not really an issue. But at work, the donut is there. I also didn't have to spend any money to get it. And also it's like kind of food waste if I don't eat it. So you can see I'm justifying it to myself right now. But anyway, that's been the sugar business. I really want to tone that down because it's such a waste of calories when I could be eating something more nutritious. And I also find that it crashes my energy more throughout the day. So yeah, we have to work on the sugar thing. So that's going to be a big goal for next quarter. Once again, I'm not going to be restricting, just being more mindful. So yeah, that's the goal there. The other thing is in terms of supplements, I've really like dialed it down. First of all, I think I talked about it in the low buy. I'm only taking supplements that have a lot of research behind them. But one that I did add to my rotation, specifically because the food tracking app that I use, Chronometer, I think that's how you say it, Chronometer. They're actually Canadian, so shout out. But they provide like a full nutrient summary based on the whole food sources you're eating. And I eat a lot of whole foods, but I also tend to repeat my meals. I am a creature of habit, and I also don't like thinking. I don't have time to think. So invariably, I was really worried I was building in nutrient deficiencies by eating the same things. I was thinking about coming out with what I eat in a day next week. So let's see. But anyway, I added a prenatal vitamin, multivitamin, I should say, to my rotation because one, prenatals are like pretty much mandated in Canada to have the exact amounts that you require, especially for women, like any, vitamin deficiencies that women are more likely to have. And they're also really soluble, etc. And they're a lot more trustworthy than multivitamins. So I've been taking one, and I've noticed the two biggest differences I've noticed are my hair is like so soft and shiny, and my skin is already like the texture has been reduced a lot and it's become a lot smoother. I should say there's one big difference that I have noticed, but I'm honestly not sure where it's come from because there's so many things associated with it. But I also feel a lot more energetic. Like I don't feel tired. So yeah, that's been my health and fitness goal. So really the only thing that I really want to work on is the sugar thing. Otherwise, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm happy with where I am in terms of that progress. The next thing I wanted to talk about is my low buy and kind of my savings and financial goals. So we did have some impulse purchases, I will say. I bought a couple clothing pieces that I didn't need. I more so wanted them to round out certain parts of my wardrobe. So like I got a short sleeve or cap sleeve blouse, I should say, in white because I just wanted one to layer pieces over. And I also got a vest and pants set. And then I got a long sleeve black top. I'll like insert images of them around here anyway. And I think that's everything I got. Yes, but essentially I didn't really need these. The other thing is that I did get my little shoulder bag that I wanted that I mentioned in my low buy video. It wasn't exactly one of the ones that I wanted, but it was on sale from Coach and it had all the correct attributes, and the sale was really good. And it was also on my low buy, so I ended up getting it, and I've already worn it out so much and I love it, and it's a great investment, so I'm very happy with that. The shoes that I wanted for my low buy, I got as a birthday present from my partner, so shout out to the boyfriend, I guess. Men are good for certain things, but no, I'm kidding. But yeah, so that got bought, which is great. And I did pick up some jewelry that I didn't necessarily need, but the pieces are really gorgeous. And they're also from a like woman-owned business based in Toronto. She makes everything handmade and they're real freshwater pearls. So it's fine. It is what it is. They're gorgeous. If I need to repurpose the pearls for something, I can do that. So it is what it is. Now, the other thing is that I definitely overspent. Well, it's not really overspent. I have a sinking fund. So I have short-term and long-term funds, but one of my short-term sinking funds is like holidays and gifts. And what that is I will literally just save a bulk amount each month. out of my paycheck to go into that fund. And then whenever I'm like buying gifts for people or planning holidays, etc., the money is going to come out of there. I've kind of preset myself a budget. So this obviously motivates me to keep the funds in there, because then I'm not like, there's no surprise purchases, if you know what I mean. So I did have to pull from that fund a little bit for my partner's birthday, which is obviously like, you know, it's his birthday. What am I going to do? Not, you know, spoil him. So it is what it is. And I also did have to pull from that fund a little bit for my tuition. So I did pay my tuition this semester, but it is what it is. I was able to save for that, no problem. And I hit most of my savings goals. I'm just annoyed because I wouldn't have had to pull from my holidays fund if I hadn't spent so much on other things. But once again, it is what it is, and we will learn. And I think the spending has slowed down considerably. Obviously, the other thing that I need to purchase at some point this year is one of my best friends is getting married, and I do need an outfit for her wedding reception. So I have quite a few, like, it's black tie, and I do have one dress that's black tie, but the thing is her wedding's in the morning and then the reception is at night, so I will need like a different dress. I don't really want to hang around in the same dress all day. The wedding's in the summer, so I'm gonna be all stinky and sweaty. It's not happening. I'm gonna get another dress. I am thinking about renting. I have many options, so let's see where that goes. I will maybe update in quarter two. But yeah, that's how the spending, saving aspect of it worked. So the first thing is I try to incorporate a lot of mindfulness practices into my daily life, because I just feel like if I don't sit with myself both in the beginning and end of the day and do things that help me feel more grounded in my body, I just overthink and do so many other things later on. It's just like that even like brief moment you have with your brain where you're like, listen, girl, I know today's gonna be crazy, but we're gonna lock in, everything's gonna be fine. You're not reacting to situations, you're kind of pre-preparing yourself for them. And I feel like that has made such a huge positive difference in my life. So in the mornings, I've been doing like lymphatic hopping, which I know sounds crazy. It's like from traditional Chinese medicine. Doing that, I would look crazy. And the number one difference that I've noticed is it just helps wake me up so much faster. I have also noticed that I feel a little bit more lean, but once again, I'm doing so many other health things. Like I don't know where it's coming from. It could be from 20,000 things. But the biggest thing is that it's just like a fun little activity to get my blood pumping first thing in the morning, moving my body. I'm listening to like nice upbeat music. So it's very positive, and I would really recommend it. Also, jumping is really important for not just women, but like everyone, regardless of gender, because it will really help improve your bone density. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. The other mindfulness practice that I've been trying to do, which I haven't been as good at, I should say, is like just putting up my legs on the wall right before I go to sleep. I did this a lot last year. I was really consistent with it, and I noticed that overall my body didn't ache as much when I woke up in the morning, like if I'd had a really hard workout the day before. And I just felt really relaxed and debloated, I'd say, the next morning. Like my stomach felt fine. So yeah, I normally also take the time to intentionally read. So for me, it's less about having my legs up on the wall and more about, oh, my legs are going to be on the wall, I might as well take this time to like read a few chapters of my book. So that the problem is those habits being interlinked means if I get into bed and I'm like, oh, I'm tired, I don't want to do this, then I lose out on two habits, not just one. Sometimes habit stacking, it's high risk, high reward. So you got to be watching out for that. But yeah, so my goal is to get more consistent with it because I want to read. That's also been like another big mindfulness thing. I have been trying to read at least one nonfiction and one fiction book every 2 weeks. I was also planning to do like a little what I've read this year, but maybe I'll do that at the end of the year. And the reason for that is I hate reading nonfiction so much. It's so boring. And the writers, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm a not I just feel like I'm not a pretentious person, and I don't like pretentious people. And that's the problem with a lot of these authors. It's like I feel like a lot of their recommendations are like, for example, I was reading a lot of business books, which I think is the problem. They're so full of themselves, unfortunately. What I did that actually made a really positive change was I started picking nonfiction books on topics that I was really interested in. So I just borrowed one from this lady who used to work for FEMA, and she helped like Hurricane Katrina survivors restock their homes and like prep for other disasters, etc. So she's not like one of those crazy doomsday preppers. She's very, very practical. And I think that topic is like really, really interesting. So I'm excited to learn about that. Now, in terms of fiction books, I honestly just pick whatever sounds interesting and go from there. I've had some hits, I've had some misses, but yeah, I also borrow books from the library. I forgot to say that, but that has been a boon in so many ways. I realized that I used to be a huge reader growing up, and then I realized that a huge prohibition for me was I kept thinking, oh, I need to buy books, and then they're so expensive, and then what if I don't like the book, etc. Just borrowing things from the library has taken out all of that decision making, because now I can borrow books for free. They will order books in if I ask, nicely, of course. And overall, like, I've been able to try so many new books that I wouldn't have. They're not like super popular, they're more hidden gems. So I feel like I've been exposed to so many more interesting things. So yeah, we gotta clamp down on the reading. It really must be done. It's such a good activity for your brain, and there's so many benefits, and I just love to read. I think it's so interesting. So we gotta get back on that. My idea is maybe I'll start reading at like lunch in the office, because I do have like half an hour of unpaid lunch, so I might as well just read then, and then that'll hopefully help me get through books faster. I did forget a big mindfulness thing, which is honestly crazy because I literally talked about it, but literally journaling. I do think that it's a really powerful tool if you can make it work for you to help you. What it does for me particularly is help me keep track of my thoughts, but also it just helps me keep track of time. And I've also noticed that the way I journal is very concentrated and specific. So my journal has like everything. Like I'll write down like what I want to do in terms of fitness. I do my habit tracking in here. I document like what has worked, what hasn't worked, etc. And I also put in like pictures and things like that. So for me, a journal is supposed to serve as like a physical representation of how my year is going. So when I journal and like I write down how my day was, I don't do free journaling. I've tried it all, okay? I've done the free journaling. I've done the guided journal with like pre-filled sections, etc. What has worked for me is I have prompts that are very specific, very clear, and there's just 4 of them. So it's what went well today, what was challenging for me today, what did I learn, and what made me happy. Keep it simple, okay? There's no word limit. I'm not putting pressure on myself to write, and they're just so clear. And what they allow me to do is just say, what did I do great? You know, what am I proud of myself for today? What was something that I found challenging? Did I learn anything from that? Did I learn anything in general? And also just a glimmer, you know, a good thing from the day. Because I feel like in this age of just, it honestly feels like the world is collapsing around us, and it's just awful things on the news every single, not even day, it's like every single hour. It's important to look back on your day and just find things that worked well, so that you'll close the loop in your head. Short term, you'll close the loop in your head and you'll be able to go to sleep without worrying. And also long term, you'll be able to look back and be like, I survived that, you know? Or, yeah, that was a good day. And then it's like a nice memory for you to look forward to. So if you're really struggling with journaling, I would highly recommend just keeping it simple. building it as a habit. I always journal right before I sleep. So I will never forget. It's right there on my bedside table. I literally cannot sleep without journaling. So that's like a hard line. I would highly recommend. But yes, that was everything I wanted to talk about. I love watching these audit videos. It's like a little yap. It's not really advice. It's just like what I do. And if you feel inspired by any of it, please let me know in the comments. I would love to chat and hang out with you guys. But other than that, please stay safe, and I hope everything is going well in your part of the world. And yeah, have a great week, and I'll see you next week.